You know what's funny? The moment you start winning, really winning, that's when everything shifts. That's when the people who couldn't stand you suddenly start looking at you different. That's when the whispers start getting quieter and the staring starts getting louder. And here is the thing nobody tells you. When you outgrow a situation, or when you escape something that was designed to destroy you, the ones who were in on it don't just move on. They sit there watching you, trying to figure out how the hell you're still standing. And that's exactly what's happening right now. This community, this group of people who thought they had you figured out, who thought they could plan around you, who thought they could control your trajectory. They are in complete regret. Not because they suddenly developed a conscience. No. Not because they realized what they did was wrong. No. But because you survived. You survived. You thrived. And now they are sitting with the consequences of their own actions, wondering how they miscalculated so badly. Let me paint you a picture. Think about the last time you walked into a room full of people who knew you, who had history with you, and you felt that shift, that weird energy where everybody's trying a little too hard to be normal, where conversations stop when you approach and they then start up again with this forced casualness that makes your skin crawl. You know what I'm talking about. You felt it the moment when you realize you are the topic of discussion, but nobody is brave enough to say it to your face. That moment when you understand that plans were made, strategies were discussed, and you were the subject of it all. That's the energy we're dealing with here. But here is what they didn't count on. You are not the person they thought you were. You never were. I want you to really sit with something for a second. Let that land. Think about your life over the past few years. Think about the people who were supposed to have your back. The ones who smiled in your face while simultaneously working behind your back. The ones who knew things about you, intimate things. Things you shared in moments of vulnerability and used all of it against you. That's not paranoia. That's not overthinking. That's the truth of what happened. And you felt it, didn't you? You felt something was off. You couldn't put your finger on it exactly, but there was this persistent, nagging feeling that things were not adding up. That the way people were treating you didn't match what they were saying. That the invitations that stopped coming, the calls that were not unreturned, the sudden distance from people you thought were close, it all felt orchestrated. And you were right. You were so right. Here's what's coming out now. There was a plan, a real, actual, coordinated plan involving multiple people who all had one thing in common. They didn't want you to win. They didn't want you to succeed. They didn't want you to be happy. And the more you started to rise, the more desperate they became to pull you back down. This wasn't just casual jealousy or petty gossip. This was organized. This was strategic. This was people sitting in rooms together, on calls together, having conversations where your name came up, and not in a good way. They were figuring out how to isolate you, how to make you doubt yourself, how to destabilize you so completely that you'd just give up. They wanted you to feel so alone, so unsupported, so confused about what was real and what wasn't, that you just stopped trying. They wanted you to disappear. Yeah. And here's the part that really gets me. Some of these people knew better. Some of them knew you didn't deserve any of it. They knew you were a good person. They knew you had a good heart, kind heart. They knew you had done nothing to warrant this level of coordinated attack. But they went along with it anyway, because it was easier, because it was safer, because standing up for you would have meant standing against the group. And they were not brave enough to do that. So they just went with it. They nodded along when your name was dragged. They laughed at jokes that were not funny. They participated in plans they knew were wrong all along. They let you walk into rooms where people were predicting to be your friend while actually working against you. And now every single one of them is sitting in regret. I want you to really understand something. Regret doesn't look like confession. Regret doesn't always look like someone coming to you and saying, I was wrong, because please forgive me. Most of the time, regret looks like distance. It looks like avoidance. It looks like people who cannot look you in the eye anymore. It looks like former friends who get nervous when you walk into a space they are occupying. Yeah. It looks like people who used to have so much to say about you suddenly going quiet when you are around. That's regret. That's guilt. That's people who know they participated in something they cannot take back. And now they don't know how to handle seeing you flourish despite it all. I need you to think about the specific moments, the ones that hurt the most. The time when you needed someone and they were not there. The time when you reached out and got nothing back. The time when you were at your lowest and the people who should have been lifting you up were conspicuously absent. Remember those moments. Yeah, because what's happening now is the other side of that. Those same people are watching you now, and they know exactly what they did. They know they left you when you needed the most. They know they participated in plans to bring you down. And every single day that you continue to succeed, to heal, to grow, to thrive, that's a reminder to them of how badly they misjudged you. This isn't about being bitter. This isn't about holding grudges. This is about understanding the truth of what happened so you can finally let go of any guilt or doubt you might have been carrying. Because here is the thing. When you are being targeted by a group of people, it's really easy to start questioning yourself. It's really easy to think, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I overreacted. And that's exactly what they wanted. They wanted you to internalize their treatment. They wanted you to believe that you deserved to be isolated. They wanted you to question your own worth, your own judgment, your own reality. But you didn't. You didn't. You held on. You trusted yourself. You kept moving forward even when everything felt like it was falling apart. And that right there is why they are all regretting it now. There is something really interesting about how this all played out. You see, when a group of people comes together to plot against someone, they usually have a specific outcome in mind. They think they know how things are going to go. They think they can predict your behavior, your reactions, your breaking point. They thought they could push you to the edge and watch you fall. But here's where they miscalculated. They didn't account for who you actually are. They didn't account for your strength. They didn't account for your resilience. They didn't account for the fact that when you feel something is wrong, you don't just accept it. You investigate it, you question it, you trust your gut, and your gut told you something wasn't right. Think about all the little signs you noticed along the way. The way certain people would go quiet when you walked into a room. The way conversations would change when you approached. The way invitations would come just a little too late, or not at all. The way people who used to be warm suddenly became distant. The way information that should have been shared with you somehow never made its way to you. The way you'd hear about things third hand that you should have heard about firsthand. All of those moments, all of those little red flags that you pushed aside and told yourself you were being paranoid about, they were real. Every single one of them. And your intuition, your brilliant intuition was trying to tell you something. Your intuition was trying to protect you. And you listened. Even when it was hard, even when it meant being alone, even when it meant losing people you thought cared about you. Here is what I want you to understand about this community. And I'm using the word community loosely here because what they had wasn't really a community. It was more like a mutual agreement to support each other's worst impulses. It's not a community. A group of people who used each other's validation to justify behavior they knew was wrong. A group of people who felt more comfortable being part of a plan to bring someone down than they felt standing up and being honest. A group of people who chose to go along with something they knew was wrong. because it was easier than being the one to say, hey, maybe we're all being terrible human beings right now. Now, here's what's happening on the other side of all of that. The people who participated in this plan, the ones who were actively working against you, the ones who thought they were so clever and so strategic, they are now watching your life unfold, and they are realizing they made a massive mistake. They thought you would crumble. They thought you would disappear. They thought you would give up. And instead, you're out here doing exactly what you were meant to do. You are thriving. You are winning. You are becoming more of who you really are. And they cannot handle it. They cannot handle it. I want you to imagine what it feels like for them. To wake up every day and see evidence of how badly you miscalculated. To realize that the person you tried to destroy is actually thriving, flourishing. To understand that the efforts you made, the plans you created, the energy you invested in bringing someone down, it all backfired. Not only did it not work, but it actually made them stronger. It pushed them toward their purpose. It forced them to become the person they were always meant to be. That's a hard pill to swallow. That's a regret that doesn't go away. And here's where it gets really interesting. Some of these people, the ones who were actively involved in the planning and other things of all of this, they are now facing their own consequences. The legal system is involved for some of them, not because you did anything, but because their actions caught up with them. The things they did, the choices they made, they are coming back to them now. It's not karma in the spiritual sense. It's literally the natural consequence of behaving like a terrible person. When you spend your life, your time trying to destroy someone else, when you put your energy into bringing someone down, when you participate in coordinated attacks against another person, eventually that behavior catches up with you. People notice, patterns become clean, and the people who engaged in all of this are now looking at potential legal trouble, financial trouble, relationship trouble, all because they couldn't just let you live your full life. Think about the irony of all of this. They spent all that time and energy trying to take you down, and now they are the ones who are dealing with the consequences. You are fine. Actually, you are better than fine. You are thriving. And they are sitting in the middle of everything they created, wondering how it all went so wrong. They thought they were being so clever. They thought they had thought of everything. They thought they had accounted for every variable paths. But they didn't account for you. They didn't account for your strength. They didn't account for your resilience. They didn't account for the fact that you are exactly who you were meant to be. And nothing they could do would change that. I need you to think about something else too. Some of the people who were part of this plan, they are not just dealing with legal consequences or financial consequences. They are dealing with the internal weight of what they did. The guilt, the shame, the regret. They cannot sleep at night thinking about how they treated you. They replay conversations in their heads, imagining what they should have said, what they could have done differently. They see your face when they close their eyes. They hear your voice. They know they were wrong, and they cannot find a way to make it right because they are too ashamed to even approach you. And here is the thing about regret. It doesn't always lead to change. A lot of people sit in regret their whole lives and never do anything about it. They just carry it around like a weight, letting it affect every other relationship they have. Because once you have participated in something like this, once you have been part of a plan to hurt someone, it changes you forever. It damages you, your ability to trust yourself. It damages your ability to trust others. Because you know what you are capable of. You know what you participated in. And that knowledge doesn't just go away. It stays forever. There are some people in this community who genuinely want to apologize. They are sitting there right now thinking about reaching out, thinking about saying something, thinking about trying to make amends. But they are scared. They are scared of your reaction or rejection. They are scared of being rejected, actually, yeah. They are scared of having to actually face what they did and take responsibility for it. And honestly, some of them should be scared because what they did wasn't small. It wasn't a minor mistake or a misunderstanding. It was a coordinated effort to hurt you, to isolate you, to destroy your reputation and your peace of mind, most importantly. And that's not something you just apologize for and move on. But here is what I want you to really understand about all of this. Their regret, their guilt, their desire to apologize, none of that is your responsibility to manage. You don't have to forgive them. You don't. You don't have to accept their apology. You don't have to make them feel bad about what they did. The way they treated you was wrong. And you have every right to protect yourself from people who have shown you exactly who they are. You do not owe them anything. Not your time, not your energy, not your forgiveness, not your presence, nothing. What you do owe yourself, though, is the recognition of what you went through. You owe yourself the acknowledgement that what happened was real, it was painful, and it was wrong. You owe yourself the space to feel whatever you need to feel about it. You owe yourself the freedom to move forward without carrying the weight of their actions with you. You owe yourself the understanding that you survived something that was designed to destroy you. And that says everything about your strength and absolutely nothing about your worth. Think about everything you've been through. The sleepless nights, the days when you couldn't get out of bed, the moments when you questioned everything about yourself, the times when you wondered if you were going crazy because nothing made sense. Nothing made sense. The conversations you replayed in your head, trying to figure out what you missed, the isolation, the loneliness, the feeling that everyone was against you and no one, absolutely no one was on your side. That was real. That was happening. And you got through it. You got through it because you are stronger than you ever knew. You got through it because you trusted yourself when everyone else was trying to make you doubt yourself. You got through it because you refused to let them win. And now, here you are. On the other side of all of it, still standing, still moving forward, still becoming more of who you really are. And the people who tried to take you down, they are sitting in regret, watching you thrive, wondering how they got it so wrong. They are dealing with the consequences of their reactions, some of them in very serious way. They are carrying the weight of knowing they participated in something they cannot take back. They are wishing they could apologize, but too afraid to actually do it. They are stuck in their own guilt and shame, and none of that has anything to do with you anymore. This is what moving on looks like. It's not about revenge. It's not about watching them suffer. It's about realizing that their actions, their plans, their behavior, it all says more about them than it ever said about you. They were the ones who couldn't handle your growth. They were the ones who felt threatened by your success. They are the ones who needed to bring you down because your light was too bright for them to handle. And now they are living with the consequences of that. That's not your problem. I want to repeat, that's not your problem. That's never been your problem. What is your problem is making sure you don't let any of this keep you from becoming everything you are meant to be. These people, this community, this plan, it was all designed to hold you back, to keep you small, to keep you doubting yourself, to keep you reacting, to keep you from reaching your full potential. And the best thing you can do, the most powerful thing you can do, the thing that will truly drive them crazy, is to keep going, to keep growing, to keep becoming, to let your life be the answer to everything they tried to do to you. Because here is the truth. They can regret it all. They won't. They can want to apologize until they are blue in the face. They can sit in their guilt and their shame and their consequences for the rest of their lives. But none of that changes what happened. And none of that changes who you are. You are not defined by what they did to you. You are defined by how you responded, by your strength, by your resilience, by your refusal to let them win, by your ability to rise above everything they threw at you and become exactly who you were meant to be. this community that regrets what they did, the people who are part of this plan, the ones who want to apologize now, that they see they cannot bring you down. They don't get to dictate your next move. They don't get to decide how you feel about any of this. They don't get to control your trajectory anymore. They lost their right when they chose to participate in something that was designed to hurt you. And now all they can do is watch. Watch you succeed. Watch you thrive. Watch you become everything they were afraid you would become. And that's exactly how it should be. I want you to really sit with something. Think about the person you were before all of this happened. Think about the person you were in the middle of it, when everything felt like it was falling apart. And then think about the person you are right now. Look at the difference. Look at how much you've grown. Look at how much stronger you are. Look at how much clearer you are about who you are, what you deserve. That's not a coincidence. That's not something that happened despite everything they did. That happened because of everything they did. They pushed you to become this person. They tested you and you passed. They tried to break you and you proved unbreakable. That doesn't mean that what they did was okay. It doesn't mean you should be grateful for the pain. It doesn't mean you should forgive them or forget what happened. What it means is that you have taken everything they tried to use against you and turned it into fuel. You have taken every attempt to bring you down and used it to build yourself up. You have taken every moment of isolation and used it to find yourself. You have taken every betrayal and used it to understand what real loyalty looks like. You have taken every moment of doubt and used it to solidify your belief in yourself. That's power. That's the kind of power that cannot be taken from you. That's the kind of power that people who sit in rooms and make plans to hurt others will never understand. Because real power doesn't come from bringing others down. Real power comes from building yourself up. Real power comes from becoming so unshakable that nothing and no one can move you. Real power comes from knowing who you are and refusing to let anyone else define that for you. So, what do you do with all of this? What do you do with the knowledge that the whole community of people regrets how they treated you? What do you do with the understanding that there was a plan designed to hurt you? And you not only survived it, you thrived it in spite of it. What do you do with the awareness that people who participated in this want to apologize, but haven't had the courage to actually face you? You keep going. You keep becoming. You keep growing. You keep showing up as exactly who you are, unapologetically and without hesitation. You let their regret be their problem. You let their guilt to be their burden. You let their consequences be their reality. And you focus on everything that's ahead of you. Because what's ahead of you is so much bigger than what's behind you. What's ahead of you is everything you have been working for, everything you have been fighting for, everything you have been becoming. The people who try to hold you back don't get a say in what's next for you. They gave up that right the moment they decided to participate in something that was meant to destroy you. So let them sit in their regret. Let them wish they could take it back. Let them watch you succeed and know that they had nothing to do with it. Let them see you thrive and realize that all their efforts were for nothing. Let them carry the weight of what they did while you carry the freedom of having moved on. And if some of them ever do get the courage to apologize, to actually face you and say the words they have been holding in, you get to decide. You get to decide what that looks like. You get to decide whether you want to hear them out. You get to decide whether you want to forgive them. You get to decide whether you want to have any kind of relationship with them moving forward. None of that is required. None of that is expected. You don't owe them a thing. What you owe yourself is the understanding that you made it through something that was designed to take you out. You survived. You survived a coordinated attack on your character, your reputation, your peace of mind. You survived being isolated by people who should have had your back. You survived questioning everything you knew about yourself and coming out the other side stronger. That deserved recognition. That deserved acknowledgement. That deserved to be honored. So honor it. Honor yourself for everything you have been through. Honor yourself for every time you chose to keep going when it would have been easier to give up. Honor yourself for every moment you trusted your intuition when everyone else was telling you that you were wrong. Honor yourself for every step you took away from people who were never really on your side. Honor yourself for becoming the person you are today. And when you think about this community, this group of people who regret how they treated you, the ones who were part of a plan to bring you down, let them be a reminder of how far you've come. Let them be a testament to your strength. Let them be evidence that no matter what anyone does to you, no matter what anyone plans against you, no matter how many people come together to try to and take you down, you will always rise. You will always win. You will always become exactly who you were meant to be. And that's not arrogance. That's not pride. That's just the truth. And the truth is, they were never going to stop you. They couldn't. They tried everything and nothing worked. Because you were never meant to be stopped. You were never meant to be exactly where they decided you to put you. You're exactly where you are right now, looking at everything you have been through and knowing that you made it. Not because you got lucky, not because someone saved you, because you refused to give up, because you trusted yourself, because you kept going even when nothing made sense. And now, here you are, on the other side of all of it, stronger, wiser, more certain of who you are and what you deserve. And the people who thought they could bring you down, they are sitting in regret. They are dealing with consequences. They are wishing they could apologize. And none of it matters. Because you have already moved on. You have already won. You have already become everything they were afraid you would become. So keep going, keep becoming, keep thriving, and let them watch.